Hello, this is Kristen with Crossing Timbers Equine. In this educational video, we're going to go over how to tack up your horse with an English saddle, and then we're going to go over untacking. The first thing I'm going to want to do is place the saddle pad on my horse. Now I'm going to take my saddle pad and I'm going to lay it up higher than it would go, and I'm going to slide my saddle pad down and back until it's in the correct position. I want to make sure that I slide that saddle pad from front to back, so that way I can make sure that I'm laying all of the hair in the right direction underneath, and I don't want to ever scooch it forward. So if I see that it's too far back, I don't ever want to pull it forward to fix it like that. I want to make sure I pick up my saddle pad again, slide it, and slide it back down so it's in the correct position. For an English saddle pad as well as a Western pad, we want the front of this pad about midway in the middle of their shoulder, and we want to make sure that it's not so far back that it gets back here into his hip. Now this isn't such a big problem with an English saddle pad because the saddle pad's shorter, but it is still something you want to make sure you keep an eye on. You also have your cheat. You have your strap here for your girth straps to go up and into. We want this strap to be right back behind his elbow. So I've got my saddle pad in position, and then I'm going to go get my saddle and put the saddle on. When I put my saddle up on the horse, I want to make sure I pick it up and get as much clearance from the saddle to the horse so I can set it down nicely on their back. I want to make sure that the front of my saddle is right over his withers, and then I want to make sure I tuck that saddle pad up into the gullet. When a horse moves, that saddle pad is going to start to shift downward and pull. So I want to make sure I give a little gap, a little bit of room right here in the gullet. So I'm going to pick my saddle up, push up with my pad, and rock my saddle down on top of that pad. That gives them a little bit more room so that that saddle pad doesn't get really super tight and locked over their withers while you're riding. I want to make sure my saddle is even front to back and side to side. And then it's time to put my girth on. Now, there's two different kinds of girths. One girth will be like this one, where it will have elastic on the one side, and then it will have no elastic, just buckles on the other. Then you may have a girth like this one, where you've got elastic on both sides. With the girth that has elastic on the one side and not the other, the side with only the buckles is going to be the side you're going to put on the right side of your horse, and then you're going to put the elastic on the side on the left side. The reason we do that is so that we can have that adjustment in tightening up our girth right before we go to get on, and if we need to dismount, it's easier to adjust our girth right here instead of having to walk around our horse to tighten up on the other side. With the one with elastic on both sides, it doesn't matter necessarily, but most of your girths are going to have your buckle in the front, in the middle, for a breast collar, if you ride with a martingale. So you want that buckle facing forward, and then putting your straps on, your elastic on both sides. I prefer to use the elastic on both sides. I feel it gives me a little bit more flexibility as far as being able to adjust how tight I want it. Another big thing to remember when putting our girth on is that you want to make sure that you keep your billet numbers fairly even. So if I, So if I end up on number 3 on the left side, I want to be close to number 2 or 3 or 4 on the right side. I don't want to have my left side at 1 and my right side at 6, or vice versa. So you want to keep those very as similar to each other as you can. So now I'm going to take my girth to the other side. I'm going to buckle it up, and then I'll come around to this side and show you how to buckle up on the left side. Now that I've got the right side buckled up, I'm going to reach under and grab my girth. I want to make sure anytime I'm reaching underneath my horse that I keep my bum facing their bum, and I put an arm on their belly to let them know that I'm going underneath to grab that girth. I'm going to bring that girth up, lift up my flap, run it through my billet keeper, put it in the very top hole of the buckle, and then pull, whoop, I lost it, pull straight up in the air. So I want to pull straight up, let it slide on the rollers on that buckle, and then put it in your buckle. So again, we're going to put it in the very top hole of your buckle, pull straight up, and put it in the buckle. Now, as you can see, I prefer to use my first and my third billet. You can use first and second, you can use second and third, you can use first and third. It's all totally your preference, whatever you're comfortable with, whatever you like. I prefer first and third because I feel like it helps shift a little bit of the pressure and separates it instead of having it all located in the front or all located in the back. So I prefer using first and third, assuming I have all three and one hasn't broken. That's why we have that third one there, just on the off chance that one of them breaks. So I want to make sure that I've got them at the even numbers as well. I don't want this buckle on 1 and the third buckle on 4. I want to keep these even on the left side as well as the right side. When it comes time to tighten it up, I'm going to pull straight up in the air. It will pop that buckle loose, and then I can put the tongue of the buckle in the next hole up. So I'm going to pull straight up in the air, have it pop loose, put it in the next hole, and let it slide through. Now, it's very important to remember whether you're tacking up with an English saddle or tacking up with a Western saddle, a bareback pad, a surcingle, no matter what you're tightening up on your horse, make sure to do it slowly and in increments. So I brushed Sly up here, I tacked him up, put his saddle on, we tightened up our girth, then I'm going to put his bridle on. After I put his bridle on, I'll tighten it up again if need be. Then I'll take him for a walk. After we're done with the walk, right before I go to get on, if he needs it, I'll check my girth again and tighten it up again. So we don't want to tighten it up all at once. You want to take it in nice, easy increments, and that helps to stop horses from getting cinchy and getting cranky when you're tacking them up. Now that it's time to untack, we're going to do everything we did just in the opposite fashion. So we're going to undo the left side first, pulling straight up, letting that buckle fall out, and slide down, pull straight up, letting that buckle fall out and slide down, pull it out, lay our girth down, then we're going to go back around to the other side, undo our buckles on the right side. Once I have the buckles undone over here, I'm going to lay it over my saddle. Then I'm going to come over here back to his left side, pick up my pad and my saddle so it's nice and clear of his back, and then I can go put my saddle down on the saddle rack and let him go play.